Wealth Hustlers, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today we're going to talk about 5 things that you really need to think twice about before you use your credit card to purchase. Alright, Wealth Hustlers, today we're going to start this episode with a little story. We're going to talk about a guy who was very young, who was in college, didn't know anything about credit, came from a very loving and attentive family, but a family that didn't know much about credit either. As you have surmised, that person is me. So when I was in college, I got caught, like so many, in the trap of the credit card, the college credit card. Now I'm going to date myself a little bit here and tell you that at the time I was working a job where I was making the minimum wage, which was $4.25 an hour. And I got an offer for a credit card, a Discover card. And that offer was they were going to extend to me $1,000 worth of credit. And all I saw was $1,000. I didn't know how credit worked. I just knew that I was a broke college student.
May I help you, sir?
How much for an order of ribs?
$2.50.
$2.50? How many ribs do I get with that?
About 5.
5? So I guess that's about 50 cents a rib, huh?
Yeah, about.
Okay, let me get one.
Right on. One order ribs.
No. One rib.
What I got first was a letter saying, congratulations, you have been extended $1,000 of credit. You're going to get your credit card soon. Look out for it in the mail. So I waited with bated breath, and one day that card came in the mail. I could tell it was the card because, you know, the envelope was kind of stiff. And I was like, wow, I got it. And I immediately, without financial acumen of any kind at that point, I was 19 years old, I started doing dumb stuff. Purchasing things that I can't even remember what I purchased with the card. Okay, I have no idea. But what I do remember is the advice I got from my boss at the time. He was the director of student activities, Mr. Young, and he told me, cut that card up. He knew I'd gotten it. He said, cut that card up and pay it off and forget about it. No, I didn't do that. So I kept the card. I kept racking up money, fees on the card, and they would send me a statement monthly, and the statement would say, here's what you owe. Here's the minimum amount that you can pay. Guess which one I usually paid? The minimum amount, right? So I got another credit card shortly thereafter. I had 2 credit cards. I had $2,000 worth of credit, revolving credit, and I just totally blew it. I had not learned how to delay my gratification. I just saw what I felt was free money. And I got a really good lesson off of that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. This card's been canceled. Impossible.
Number 1, cash advances. Don't get cash advances with a credit card. Reason being, let's say that you've got a great rate with your credit card. Let's say you got 10%. Remember, we're working off of that $1,000. So you got a 10% rate, APR. You think you're doing gangbusters. So when you take that cash advance, the company, you've got to read the fine print, they're actually, in most instances, going to charge you more than your APR, annual percentage rate, on your cash advances. So let's say you take out $100, and let's say it goes from 10% to 12%. Now you've taken $112. So you've cost yourself money. Whatever you're purchasing now is more expensive. Don't take cash advances on a credit card. If you don't have the cash, that probably is a good indicator of your inability to afford the item or whatever it is you're trying to do at that point. Delay that gratification, save the money. Next up, college tuition. And look, there's a lot of debate right now as to whether or not people should even be going to college. If you are an entrepreneurially minded person and you're debating on whether or not to go to college, we did a video, and we're going to do an expanded amount of coverage on that issue. But let's say you decide to go to college for whatever reason. Don't put tuition on a credit card. Reason being, student loans are at about 5% these days. So that money is less expensive to obtain than if you were to put it on a credit card. Beyond that, typically when you put purchases like that on a credit card, a lot of the colleges especially are charging a processing fee and a transaction fee in order to do that. So again, you're costing yourself more in fees and in the interest that will accrue if you are unable to pay that bill off in full. If you're going to go to college, look into a student loan. It's cheaper money as opposed to putting that on your credit card. The next one is medical bills. Now, everybody out there, if they've gotten to the age of 30, I suppose, will have a pre-existing condition and may have had some reason to rack up a medical bill. Even if you're the perfect picture of health, maybe you broke a bone or whatnot and you're racking up medical bills. No problem. But don't put that on a credit card. Work with the medical provider. Usually, they are very cooperative in setting up payment plans so you can pay off your bills. Another thing you might want to do is you may want to ask the provider initially, at the time of treatment, what it would cost for you to just pay the bill outright. A lot of times, if you can cut out the processing fees that insurance companies tend to accrue, then you may be able to save money if you pay in full at the time of service. A lot of people are tempted to make a down payment on a vehicle with their credit card. Resist the urge to do that. The average APR, the average annual percentage rate on a vehicle, is 5%. For 48 months. The statistics I looked at this morning say it's at 4.99 for 60 months if you need to finance that vehicle. So that 5% is far less than whatever you're paying interest-wise on your credit card. So a good strategy would be to take an amount, doesn't have to be a large amount, and go ahead and put that on the car in cash, and then finance the rest at the lower interest rate. There is a such thing as good credit. You can make credit work for you, and this is one of the opportunities that you have to do that. Now also on a car, we did a video about this, don't go out and buy a brand new car. I mean, you're a wealth hustler, okay? So cars are things that lose value instantly. Once you drive it off the lot, it starts to depreciate. Let someone else who's not a wealth hustler get the depreciation. You go in and buy that car 2 to 3 years later. We're all wealth hustlers here. We're all focused on accumulating, appreciating, income generating assets. So some might think, hey, I can take my credit card and go buy some stocks. No, bad idea. Reason being, again, let's work off of that 15% interest rate. The S&P 500 has returned 7% since 1928. Therefore, if you're being charged anything more than 6% on a credit card interest APR, annual percentage rate of interest, then you're not making money. So resist the urge to buy stocks on a credit card. It's actually a money-losing idea. All right, this is a bonus one. We're all wealth hustlers here. We're out there acquiring income-producing assets and starting businesses, so we may be tempted to put startup business expenses on a credit card. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying be very, very cautious if you do it. Now, there's several examples of people who have done that to great effect. Kevin Smith, the Hollywood director, Spike Lee, they've done that, and they've built pretty noteworthy businesses from that. It was a hell of a risk, but it worked out. So if you have to take a risk in business to do something like that, do it judiciously. Make sure you've done all of your due diligence, and make sure that if it doesn't work out as you planned, you can pay that credit back, because you want to keep your credit score, relatively high, so that you can allow you to acquire assets on leverage, and we'll talk about that in another video. Alright, that's it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please send this video to a friend, to a family member. Hell, send it to an enemy. They won't be an enemy anymore once you have given them some tools to manage credit a lot better. And this goes for people who are entrepreneurial, and this goes for people who are not. Everybody's in the credit game. Everybody's got to play smart. So, like us on Facebook, subscribe to the channel here, and as always, if you or anyone you know is interested in starting a business, then you need to contact us, because we are in the real estate and financial services businesses, and we want to show you how those work to great effect. We haven't reinvented any wheels. We haven't started the next Google or Facebook, but as long as someone needs a place to live or do business out of, and as long as people need financial services to help their prosperity grow and to protect their family, then we're in business. So give us a call, write us a note in the comments there, let us know you want to reach out to us. We'd be happy to hear from you. Share the video. Talk to you soon. Wealth Hustle on.